starters. One out of a million marine show sights. Always had a feeling that I won't deny that work. Never ties. Look in my eyes. I'm on the rise.
How's it going, everybody? It's a beautiful 37 degrees here in Minnesota. And I was bored and talking about selling my Lexus ISF on forums, potentially. Seems like everybody's posting their cars because it's about that time. The season's coming to where everybody's going to be driving their nice cars again. So I thought I'd post mine before I start building it just to see if anybody bites. I don't realistically want to sell this car. I just got word that I'm going to be working from home permanently. Thank God. Don't have to worry about gas to the city. And the good news is I don't have to drive an hour there, an hour back. That's going to save me a ton of money just in driving. So while the Lexus ISF is a great car, I bought it to drive there and back. While the Lexus ISF is a perfect car for reliability and getting there and getting back in all the back roads and highways that I take to get to work, I don't have to do that anymore. So I was strongly contemplating buying a project car, having fun with it, building it up, and kind of showing people what can be done with a car that's more attainable than a Lexus ISF. Because even at $16,000, or for the cheaper ones, you could get one for like 13, maybe 10 if you're super lucky that needs some work. But most people don't want to get that type of loan, and most people don't want to have to worry about a luxury car that has 200,000 miles. So I figured maybe I'd do something different, but I digress. I still want to build it up, so if I don't sell it, that's my plan. I'm going to continue that and probably just buy a project car on the side and have fun with both, or just build up my truck. It's still undecided. People expect the best car that they could get, and that's perfectly understandable. But part of the problem I'm running into is that this car is a great car, has 200,000 miles. Unfortunately, it's not mint, it's not perfect, so the imperfections are going to probably drive away a lot of people, and they love the price, they like what they see, and then, you know, when it comes down to actually talking about the issues that it has that would cost more, that would make the vehicle cost more if I were to replace them, they're no longer interested in the great price. So while I could sell this car for cheaper, I'm not in a rush, you know. It's still a great car, I still want it, but if I could get something that I could build up and get more content out of, then that would probably be my ideal option. So one thing to consider when buying a Lexus or a BMW or any luxury car for that matter is you're going to pay premium prices for virtually everything. For the Lexus ISF, for example, a supercharger is roughly $10,000 for an RR racing supercharger. And if you're not that familiar around an engine, you're going to have to pay an additional probably $2,000 to $3,000, just depending how long it takes to actually complete the job. So $12,000 deep doesn't make a car super cheap. Now, with 416 horsepower, you probably don't need a supercharger. You probably don't need a turbocharger. But if we're talking an exhaust, for example, you're gonna be paying upwards of $1,000 on a good day, maybe even $1,500 just for an exhaust. So it gets really pricey. Their suspensions are slightly cheaper for really good quality. So where you might pay $1,000 just for a mid-range spring and shock combo Lexus. Mind you, a Lexus ISF is virtually impossible to find something super cheap for. But I did find coilovers alternatively for $800, so that was an option that I was looking at. And again, I'm trying to build a budget build here with this car. So with that being said, if I really wanted a good suspension package, and to mind you, again, this is just a really good coilover. It doesn't include the arms, it doesn't include the bushings. That's an additional, probably easily get into $2,000, maybe even $2,500 just for a good setup overall. But just the coilovers for a good coilover set is going to run you anywhere between $1,200 to $1,500. And I've seen really good ones for the racetrack for probably $1,800 to $2,000. So it can get really expensive really fast. And while it's applicable to any car, it's especially true for luxury cars. I was talking to my buddy who owns a BMW. It's a 1996 BMW. And he's paying roughly the same premium that I am for a luxury car. So it's something definitely to consider when you're buying these cars. I mean, you know, with other parts like the spoiler, the suspension, you know, little tidbits around the car, you don't have to worry too much because you can get cheaper parts, but that doesn't always mean that it's going to be a good, long-lasting part. For example, the duckbill spoiler that I have is quite faded, which is unfortunate because it looked beautiful, I'm sure, at some point with the carbon fiber, but now it looks terrible. It's super faded. I'd have to, if I plan on keeping this car, I definitely have to paint over it at some point. And my idea was to color match it if I was to keep the car, and I would definitely color match it, touch it up. But when you're getting into splitters, when you're getting into diffusers, again, we're talking over $1,000 just for that, because it's a luxury car and you're paying a premium. And I thought it was just me. I thought I was just noticing that it was quite expensive. But then I was looking at other videos of people with Lexus vehicles, and they basically said the same thing. People that come from Hondas, people that come from Subarus, they're used to paying a reasonable amount of money, but you're not paying a premium for it just being a luxury car. That's literally all it is. So while I'm maybe griping a little bit, I knew what I was going to walk into. I just didn't think it was going to be this bad with all the different parts. Like, I could understand to an extent the Supercharger, but it's kind of ridiculous when you can actually probably buy a Supercharger on a good day for under $3,000 for just about any other car. I was looking at a Ford Mustang, for example, and a Supercharger for a Ford Mustang GT was probably in the range of $3,000. And if it's used, you could save even more money. But ultimately, one way to look at it is that most people spend money, thousands of dollars, on turbos, on the internals. But one way I'm trying to look at it is the Lexus ISF is set up for 416 horsepower. Now, it's not to the wheels, obviously, but it's still a lot of power for a car. So really, if I wanted to leave it as it is, it's perfectly fine. I could tune it, I could let it breathe a little bit better with an intake, but I've also heard issues with the intakes for the Lexus ISF, so I might just leave it as it is. And it's a great car. So just remember, do your homework, do your research, as I always suggest, before buying a luxury performance car, and you're definitely not going to regret it. Now, I want to be clear, I don't regret buying the Lexus ISF, but things change, things always change. So if I was to sell it, I would definitely get a cheaper project car that I could then put parts into, and it'll definitely not cost the amount of money that I put into the Lexus ISF. However, one thing I have noticed is living vicariously through friends, I still get the reliable car. So that's definitely something to consider buying a Lexus if you really want one. Lexus ISF, Lexus IS350, Lexus IS250, all applicable, all reliable. Thanks for watching and have a great day.